Those who know me know I make a lot of bad decisions in just about all departments of my life. I make bad personal decisions. I was once having brunch outdoors with a lady I was madly in love with, and I started yelling at birds for reasons that still elude me to this day. This did not endear me to her or the birds. I make bad social decisions. On a birthday a few years ago, I ran into childhood hero Jerry Rice outside of a bar in San Francisco. I was beyond hammered at this point, and I decided to challenge this childhood hero to a football duel. I obviously didn't have a football on me, but suggested we use a nearby plant. He turned me down. But the story I'm going to tell you is about when I almost committed figurative and physical professional suicide. I had recently graduated from college and was working at a tech company in the Silicon Valley. The job was everything I could ask for at that stage of my life. Paid decently, had benefits, and my coworkers were friendly. This was just what I needed, as I was pretty miserable at the time. I was recently dumped by somebody I dated for a very, very long time. So to escape that reality, I decided to throw myself into my work. I would work day and night. I would sleep in the office. I even once worked 3 days straight without sleep. See, my ultimate plan was to get rich, buy the company that my ex worked at, and shut it down. Now, that was a pretty delusional dream, but one that I thought was somewhat feasible and rather brilliant. Keep in mind, I was in my early 20s. So I was there I was at work late one weeknight. I don't remember the exact time, but I think it was probably around midnight or 1. The caffeine was hitting me hard, and I was starting to get hungry. So I went over to the kitchen where my friend, the vending machine, could deliver me some badly needed Cheez-Its. I put in my $1, and of course the Cheez-Its got stuck. I thought, no big deal. I've seen other people deal with this. You just have to push the vending machine back and forth a bit and they'll pop right out. So now there's like a decent amount of clearance from the wall to the back of the vending machine. So all I had to do was give it a few pushes toward the wall and I'd be in Cheez-It heaven. But for some reason I decided not to do that. There wasn't anything to either side of the machine. There was no refrigerator or other vending machine. So I decided, I'll go to the right, grab the top, and pull it towards me. Keep in mind it was pretty late and I think I was like going mad. Now luckily before I did that, I came to my senses and I realized that's how people get flattened by vending machines. So I decided I'm going to push it away from me. You know, just enough to get the legs to pop up and then come back down and have my Cheez-Its pop up. So the first time I tried to be as gentle as possible. That wasn't getting me anywhere. This machine was pretty heavy and wasn't playing nice. I had to get my Cheez-Its. So I bend my knees, put my shoulder into it, and give it a really good shove. This worked. The Cheez-Its came loose. As did everything else because I toppled the vending machine. Now the first moments after this were spent in shock. Did that really happen? What did I do? Am I some sort of He-Man and not know it? Then the panic set in. I did what anybody else would have done. I ran a super fast Olympic sprint around the office to make sure there was no one there. Check. But that doesn't really solve anything. I returned to the scene of the crime. Is it a crime? Shit, they're gonna fire me because they think I did this on purpose. Or worse, what if my coworkers think I'm some sort of pervert that gets off on pushing machines? First things first, there's no broken glass and it looks like the machine's still working. So we just have to get this guy up and hope that makes everything better. So I tried lifting it with what I now believe is my superhuman strength. This, of course, is a horrible failure. Knocking down a vending machine doesn't require superhuman strength. Apparently, it just requires an unrelenting desire for Cheez-Its in the middle of the night. So still panicking and beginning to guilt sweat, I start brainstorming a way out of this. Of course, I'm in the Bay Area. I'll just tell everyone there was a huge earthquake last night, and I'm lucky to be alive. They'll probably give me a raise or a promotion. But then I say to myself, Apul, you'll have to knock a lot of other shit over. And all we have to do is check the news to know there wasn't an earthquake. Plan B. I took physics in college. Surely I can fashion some sort of pulley system. But Apul, you can't even lift the machine enough to get a rope underneath. And you don't have any tools, and you don't have a rope. Also, you have no fucking idea how to make a pulley. So plan C, And at this point, I'm getting really desperate and really scared and just like all over myself. I'm not all over myself like that. Okay, so how much can a vending machine cost? You can just get a new one, replace this one. No, you can't, Apul, because there's no such thing as a 24-hour vending machine store. That was it. I was toast. By this point, I was descending into madness. I was drenched in sweat, pacing around, and smoked about 10 cigarettes. What am I going to do? This job meant everything to me. I was out of ideas. I slowly sat down in the kitchen, looked up, let out a big sigh, and there I saw the answer. I knew what I had to do. I completely forgot that the entire office had security cameras everywhere. I wasn't going to be able to overcome this. I was going to have to own it and just get fired. And then, no one's going to hire me again. Probably be poor or homeless. I mean, I'll be forced to put vending machine killer under special skills on my resume. Who wants that guy? I wept a little in that kitchen. Actually, I cried. I wasn't really weeping. Contemplated calling my mom because I was surely going to prison. She didn't answer. So then I just went home. I woke up at my usual time in the morning and drove to the office. I slowly walked into the kitchen. And there was the vending machine, standing in its original place. But that happened though, right? I'd been working hard and I know I wasn't losing it, and I wasn't high or drinking. Then I noticed some scratches on it. Okay, it did happen. It did happen. Or did it? I went to my cube where I expected my stuff to be waiting for me in a box. It wasn't. Shit. I've completely lost it. I imagined the whole thing. I am insane. I went about my day at work, and I did so for the next 2 years. Occasionally getting freaked out whenever I walked by the vending machine. But I stuck it out for 2 years. When I finally decided to leave that job, my coworkers threw me a little party. Not because they liked or valued me, but I think it was just an excuse to eat junk food. There, the manager of operations came up to me. He pretty much handles everything in the office, like, desks, putting in new desks, computers. I was pretty scared of him. He's the guy in the office that everybody said was a psycho. That during the Vietnam War, he killed scores of Viet Cong with his bare hands. He comes up to me and says, "I know what you did." But in a much more manly voice than mine. I almost pissed my pants. I actually did pee a little, not a lot, not always like dripping. I didn't say anything, but I knew what he was talking about. I asked him why he never did anything about it, why he never said anything. He replied that he and his group laughed so much at me freaking out in the security video that they took pity on me and fixed the mess. And then he walked away. And I never saw him or spoke to him again. But it did happen. And I got away with it. And I finally was at peace with what happened that fateful night. To this day, I still hold on to a very valuable lesson from that experience. Always buy your Cheez-Its from the grocery store. They're cheaper and probably haven't been sitting there for that long.